Part 2.
Mike getting the boot.
Hey, 99 ain't good enough. We back. We'll be keeping 100.
Yes, sir.
And to my left, we got Coach Tommy J. To my right, Debonair D. And our special guest.
Per my glass.
Per your glass, yes. Debonair D. Customized glass. Shout out to Ynkyshne clothing line who made the glasses for us. We appreciate it.
Those are nice.
Thank you for that. And our special guest, last but not least, Mr. Anddrikk Frazier.
Yes, sir.
Fellas,
Bike like he left something.
thank y'all for bringing me back.
I mean, you the first one to get a part 2, deservingly
Wow.
so. Deservingly so.
Hopefully I'm not the last.
I mean,
Well, we left some
you
stuff
might
on the
be.
table, I think. So
But I think we left a little water on the table. We want to clean it up.
Meat on the bone.
I think this show here, we want to make sure that we need to make sure you get your flowers and be celebrated and understand the transition and the power that you possess as a basketball player in Hillsborough County and once upon a time, sir, and in college and all that. So take us back and talk to us a little bit about your favorite moments in basketball. You know what I mean? And
Well,
Real quick.
you had levels when you was stomping Dak, them.
Gotta
That's the
relax.
last thing you was saying.
Also, my cousin Dre said Anddrikk was not 6 when he playoff fouled him. He had to be about 8, 9, maybe closer to 10.
Come on, man.
Dre said you were not
Come
6.
on, bruh.
I got that out
Okay,
there,
all
cuz.
right,
You
all
ain't
right. I
pushing
mean,
little kids
I'm
down
gonna
at the
go
ball.
back. That had to be like 1983.
We'll talk
maybe?
about it later.
Okay.
We'll call Dre on the conference call.
so when did you start playing basketball?
My first kind of memory playing organized basketball was with HCPRD, and I had to be like 5 years old.
Can you
Wow.
tell
And I
the
was
people
playing up.
at home what the acronym stands
Hillsborough County Park and Recreation Department.
One of my favorite leagues.
Used to have a basketball league, and we played actually in high school gyms. The younger kids, your free throws were kind of like at the dotted line, but the hoop wasn't lowered down. And my first game I can remember was at King High School.
Quick question. They don't have that league anymore, do they?
for? No.
It's going bye-bye.
You can tell, too, because the
same.
fundamentals and the plan is going down. You can tell.
The same reason we don't have as many, next level basketball players coming
Yeah.
out of the county. But
Yes,
you
sir.
know, I
Anyway.
digress.
Yep.
And the coaches were either some of the high school players or some of the JV coaches from the different high schools. So it was like a little bit of an integration. Yeah. So that was kind of my first like real memory organized. But I can remember my dad as a young kid. We used to live over in South Tampa before South Tampa was what it is today, right?
Yes, sir.
Kind of some like subsidized
So
little apartments right off of McDill, like walking distance from Academy of Holy Names.
Oh,
Like
so
we were a block from the Bay, and 2 blocks from Academy of Holy Names.
Okay, on McDill.
And there was a little park over there around the corner, and my dad used to take me to go shoot as a little kid, and I used to try to shoot underhand, right? Try to get to the rims, like, boy, you got to start learning how to shoot the right way, So he made me switch from underhand, and I think I made my first basket when I was like 4 years old.
It's impressive. That is very impressive. And at 4 years old, do you remember how tall you were?
No. The ball was as big as me. That's about all I can remember.
So in high school, Drake, you were listed at what height?
Ooh, which year?
Your senior year.
My senior, I was listed at 5'11".
Okay. Generous 5'11".
Generous 5'11".
Well, back in the early 90s, when you look at basketball now, and when I look at basketball now, it being the average height in the NBA is 6'7". But me looking at you back then being a smaller guard, and I always know you had the girth, the power, and the speed and the athleticism that you didn't see many. And I never, told you this. So I don't think we even had this discussion. But when you look at, somebody of your size and kind of seeing, looking at most guards, back then, you didn't see, obviously many guys. You went to Vanderbilt, you signed with Vanderbilt to have the athleticism, the combined speed, the IQ, all the intangibles as playing the sport. This is why you signed at the level that you did. But as you watch the game now, we talked about it on the last podcast and looking at the lack of IQ or, size or skill set. The skill set has increased. The athleticism is increased, but the IQ has changed a little bit. Give us your take on when you see, what if a kid's smaller, what would you think they need to work on more to get to the level they're trying to get to?
First of all, you talk about like this height and athleticism. Like basketball is a put the ball in the hole to prevent somebody else from doing it game.
Simple.
And so you definitely have an advantage when you're a larger, taller, quicker, more athletic player, right? Because the goal doesn't change.
Yep.
The court size doesn't change.
Right.
So if the body size has changed, that's a lot of difference to make up. So at a very young age, my dad always talked to me about like understanding the game, understanding who you're playing with. I can remember playing with guys and being a lot more advanced, younger, and I would pass my ball and they wouldn't catch it, you know. And then I look at the end of the game and I'd be like, "Dad, how do you get?" He's like, "Man, you had 8 turnovers." I was like, "How I get a turnover when I pass him the ball and he drop it?" Well, the way the stat works is that
It's always the passer's fault.
right?
It's on you.
Right. So you literally have to learn how to pass and catch the ball for somebody, who you can pass the ball to in certain situations, how they like to catch the ball, where they like to catch the ball, and what positions they need to be in. So, you know, as a smaller player, like you have to be great, first of all, to me, at one thing as a small player. Like there's one thing you got to do very well, whether it's shoot the basketball, handle it, pass it, defend. One thing you have to do great. And then you have to understand the game from top to bottom, everybody's position, offensively and defensively, because every advantage that you can get is going to help, you know, make up or negate for the 6-7 inches you're giving up sometimes.
I look at you, and then I had a cousin that played at Brandon High School, came out when I did in '82, but he was at Brandon out there with Tommy Conley and some of them boys. Y'all the 2 best guards I had ever seen in high school. Y'all the 2 smartest guards. He was a lefty, you were righty. Knew the game inside and out, knew everybody's position, everybody. And to this day, if I see a guard that's a smaller guard, if he don't get up in him like you did, if he don't understand the game the way you did, then there ain't no need me picking him. He ain't, you know what I'm saying? And you can pick them and think they know that, and say, I'm pretty sure, but it ain't too many. They don't understand what else they need to bring to the table. Like you said, when that size ain't there, you got to bring something else to the table. And guess what? A lot of them can't.
I mean, I view myself as I was a good high school basketball player. All right. I think what made me different from everybody else was the fact that I played 110% all the time.
Yes, sir.
And I think that's where some people also miss that boat. I practice at 110% all the time, and that's on the offense and the defensive end. So you just have to find ways to kind of make the game easier for yourself, and honestly, I mean, rattle your opponent. Like I didn't talk a lot of shit. I mean, I very rarely say anything before or after games.
Right.
You know, but when the ball went up and the whistle went in, like I'm in your face for them 32 minutes.
It's irritating though when somebody's in your face like that all the time. I mean, it really is.
It's irritating.
I mean, it's irritable, man. It's irritating, man.
Get up under you. You don't want to put it on the floor. They all up under you. Yeah.
No, it is, and I try to relate that to a lot of, you know, obviously being in the county, seeing a lot of kids, you know, here now trying to transition. You know what I mean? Being smaller guards, you don't see too many of those lengthy guards here in the county that we've seen or that we'll see on YouTube or at a national tournament or something like that. And I always try to tell them, you know, some of the similar things, but understand tempo and pace. What's going to separate you? You know what I mean? Your conditioning is your gift. You know, things of that nature and understanding that. So I just think a lot that you projected that you can give, you know, not just being smaller, but also just having the knowledge of the game of basketball, and that's just being relatable. I want to touch on just your decorations, and I want to touch on just your accomplishments as a amateur athlete. Let's touch on that a little bit.
I mean, I guess kind of starting in high school at Bayshore, you know, our sophomore year, we went all the way until like the 32nd game of the season before we lost a game. And we ended up losing to Daytona Sea Breeze in a Pocket Blue Darter tournament. And it was the first time that a lot of our teammates had faced bigger, stronger. We really don't care about who y'all are, who, you know, there's no awe in the moment. And it was kind of that whole shock and awe piece.
No intimidation.
Nah, at all. Absolutely at all. And I can remember that game. I ended up getting a steal at half court, had a breakaway dunk. And I put that thing back on the numbers. And not only did I miss the dunk, but the rim was kind of tight. And I was all a buck 155 then.
It didn't break.
Yeah, it kind of threw me off a little bit too. Yeah. So that was not a very memorable game. But my sophomore year, I can remember not making all county after averaging almost 20 points a game as a sophomore. Us going 34-2. We weren't team of the year in Hillsborough County. I mean, I didn't make all county first, second, or third team. I think I got like 2 or 3 votes for all state. So that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, especially kind of seeing some of the other people who were on the list. So
Motivation.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. And
all the hating is fueling my fire.
I was never a person that that wanted to, like, I wasn't looking at the paper for my stats. Like I wasn't. That's not what I was about. But my thing was like, I mean, if we go out on the court and we perform, like we should we should be able to,
Yes, sir.
muster a little bit. So that kind of fueled the fire the next year, I think, for us, to play a much tougher schedule. And so we traveled a lot more. I think we played like 8 or 9 public schools my junior year. Was fortunate enough to finally, make a honorable mention my junior year, all county.
It's ridiculous.
Wow.
And being second team all state, which pissed me off even more.
That never made sense to me.
See, then that don't make sense to me because I didn't know that. So you can make, was Hillsborough County that tough? Honorable mention Hillsborough County.
Not our junior year.
All state?
It wasn't our junior year.
What's that? Was 92?
That was 93.
93?
That was 93.
Yeah, it wasn't that. I mean, it was.
Really?
Was Smith there with you then?
Derek was with me there.
I remember when
That's a hell of a backcourt.
I knew you, but when I first seen you and Smith go together.
That's a hell of a backcourt.
Oh, that's the best one that's been in this county. That's
Somebody
the best
told
backcourt
me
that's been in this county. Now, they can name some athletes.
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm talking about the best backcourt.
I got it as the best
backcourt. Somebody, let's touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, I got it as the best backcourt. One of my partners had he had Kenny and Darryl from TC.
Never.
Which I love Kenny and Darryl.
Never.
But in basketball circles, those dudes are looked at as football players.
They football player. And
you know what I'm saying?
And let's don't get mixed up because they was one was a pro football player.
Yeah. That came later.
Did they mention what DA?
Yeah.
You can't count DA and say it. Because they went in the back because they said it was small. Yeah.
I mean,
to me, it's the best backcourt I had ever seen.
Look, I would take me and my guy versus any other 2 backcourts. If you match us up in whatever era, I would take that hands down. On both ends of the floor, by the way.
Both ends of the floor.
Both ends of the floor.
Great point.
Both ends of the floor.
Both ends. I saw y'all 2 dudes. I said, man, these dudes relentless. And they put on a little bit of showtime.
Two scat backs.
Yes, sir.
My sophomore year, we played Jesuit at Jesuit. We're undefeated. Starting to get a little bit of ticking. I think we're like number 8 in 1A. So we're playing at Jesuit. They're undefeated. They're ranked like 3 in 4A. And they just came off beating Tech. This is in 92. At Jesuit, by the way. Wow. All right? The first time Bayshore Christian ever plays Jesuit. So I know you. So you already know because you played in the gym.
Yeah,
You've been in those games before.
Y'all
ever played the Jesuit before?
I ain't never played the Jesuit.
No AC in the gym. I mean, it's packed.
Oh, it's not.
packed.
It's not.
Echoes,
it's not the.
The Jesuit we see now.
No. It's not that.
Yeah.
This is the old Jesuit.
That thing echoes, so the people in there when they pack it,
It's loud.
What?
I mean,
and hot.
We literally, when I say people are on top of you, they were literally on top of you.
That's how I was at College of Charles.
That was a 28-point performance for your dog as a sophomore. I think
Double
Smith had 24. And we ended up beating them in overtime. I had to get police escorts out the gym and out the parking lot.
They get a little rowdy down there. Hold on, just for the record,
Why
Jones.
you mad?
That's the other end of Himes. That ain't South Himes. That's the other end. We don't get that rowdy like that.
I mean, really?
On North Himes.
I mean, it's Hines, baby.
They're on the north side of Himes.
Hey, look, I mean, that's kind of unbelievable.
What was my man name at Jesuit? Carlos
Cisneros.
Yeah. Los, he was cold.
Yeah, he was really cold. I read all
That
about
night.
how cold he was
Yes.
all the way up until that Friday evening.
Yes.
And now he had to meet somebody
Hey.
that night.
I got
He
to
got
tell.
put on slow bait.
I got to tell the Drake story. So we'll be somewhere. They might be like, that's Tommy Jones. He's the best shooter in the southeastern United States. I could feel Drake burning a hole in my. So I'm doing this type of stuff. Yeah, you got. I look back, he'll be over there like this. We're playing a guy who shall remain nameless, had a reputation as a shooter.
Why you gotta remain nameless? Man?
Cause
Like
hey,
we're Honda.
we all friends up here.
We all are.
Guy come in the gym, he got some University of Washington shorts. People start saying, "Oh, you getting recruited by UW?"
Oh man, here we go.
Drake holds a man probably like 2 of 18. And the funniest moment is Drake gives me the look.
Like he's still the best shooter in the Southeast United States.
Then after the game, the dude got somebody out there feeding the ball like it's something wrong.
Yeah, he working on his game. Yeah, he working on his game.
What's
I
wrong
knew you
is the
remember.
dude that was gone, you gone.
No.
So we leave it out the gym. I'm trying not to look because I feel it. I look over there, Drake talking about. You know what I'm saying? Just when I say he locked him up, you know, as a guard, if you guarding a guy and y'all relatively the same size, turning your back while bringing the ball up is a no-no.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, you in trouble.
I think that's when that first came out when the Joker pick it from behind like that.
Especially,
no, I don't mean him picking him from behind. I mean, he sees Drake coming and turns his back and start walking up
So
like
Maul
Magic,
Jackson. You were Maul Jackson.
like
Yeah.
Magic used to do.
Basically,
Yeah. This all Drake gave me, John.
He done did a few people like that though, cause I don't watch them. You know, and they be like, we got to watch out for so and so. Now, not tonight. We don't. We got to watch out for.
Nah,
them
he used to
tonight.
bring it. He used to bring it, boy.
Then senior year, of course, after doing everything, kind of junior and transferring from Bayshore and going to prep, and I wasn't ruled eligible until like a week before the season.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Look,
I
controversy
didn't even know they
time.
had that transfer rule then.
It wasn't so much.
There was not a transfer rule.
Oh,
It was a bunch
hold
of-
on. Like,
was
y'all,
a
yeah,
bunch
that's
of-
good.
Yeah,
Boy,
no,
the handbooks I done read.
Yeah,
Bunch of-
there was not a transfer rule. But yeah, I wasn't eligible until a week before the season started. You know, so that added a little extra fuel to the fire.
How did they?
Yeah, we're not going to
That's
go into
an
that
off-camera
today. Yeah,
discussion.
definitely. So, you know, Carl was being under-recruited. Jones had introduced me to this whole strength and conditioning program during the summer. So I went from like 160 to 175 with 3.5% body fat, dunking vertically.
6 inches on your vert.
It was just like
I was
you know,
like
middle
basket-
game jump shot was crazy.
I was like, basketball players don't lift weight. What
Hey,
is he
man,
talking about,
these
Drake?
dudes, let me tell you something. These dudes, Drake didn't. That dude over there, them dudes fought lifting so
I was like,
hard.
the weight
Carl
room.
fought it.
Listen, I did it
Everybody.
too.
Yeah,
I did it
And I
too.
was like, fellas,
Listen.
remember that? Remember I went in the weight room, threw 315 on
It's
that.
a true
Then the
story.
15 came out, bop, bop, bop. I said, don't mess up your game, man.
Only then was I like, oh, all right, I'm
I
gonna
wish
start
somebody would
lifting
have told me
then.
that. Well, listen, I go put 2 Cadillacs on the side, do it 6 times, walk straight to the gym. I'm not lifting, man. Now, I wish I would have in high school though.
I mean, Jones had me when I got to Vanderbilt and we did testing the first week as a freshman. Like I walk in the gym and they're like putting weights on or whatever, and I'm like, that ain't gonna work for me. You know how like you watch the long jump
Yeah.
and like people jump like I'll pass. Okay, I'll pass. They up to 265. I'll pass. Like the post players,
Right.
and they looking at me like I'm crazy. 285.
yeah, let me get that.
Yeah, I mean, I was hang cleaning like
I used
205.
to do that thing real. I used to teach that thing.
Oh,
Yeah.
squat
I used to teach that
365.
thing. Yeah.
And with correct form and everything. So like, you know, I was built so in high school, like I go to the paint and you know, I get pushed and
Right.
nudged. Somebody getting into me like that don't mean nothing.
Right.
You know, they're bouncing off of me.
Young fellas, lift your weights, man. Get in the weight room. Get functional. Properly. Get in the weight room.
But senior year was special because
That was a great year.
Coach Finland and this guy really put together like a hell of a schedule for us. And it was kind of one of these attitudes where like I was like, look, man, excuse me, I don't give a fuck. Let's play anybody.
Let's
Any and
play.
everybody. I don't care where we got to go. Let's do it.
Right.
And being at prep, we had the means. So, man, that year we played almost 40 games. We had the City of Tampa championship for the first time that year that they hosted, and we ended up playing Tech in the final.
Yes, sir.
And that is probably that's probably one of my most favorite games.
Man,
That is by far,
Wow.
outside of some of them old University of Tampa games, but if we talking high school, that is
I
my
wish I could've
favorite
seen that.
game
That was
of
a
all
great game.
time.
That was a
All
great
time.
We
I rushed over there to get there for the final.
There was
That
a bunch
was-
of people that had games.
that was the
night
first
that came
time
in
I
there.
had seen Ice play, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I didn't go to
Remember
none
I
of the
used to
public
tell
schools.
you about
used
him.
to
I
tell
was
me all
like
the time.
Jones.
When I seen them play, I was like, boy.
Ice, that's
Oh, my
Damon
goodness.
Smith, by the way.
Yeah.
So they had us set up on the opposite side of the brackets. I think we opened up with East Bay, and then we played somebody from across the water. Then we played Bloomingdale, so we have Tech in the final.
Yeah.
So it's the last game of the year. So
Shell was packed.
remember now,
The Shell.
the Shell was packed. D. Smith went to Tech. I was supposed to go to Tech. My dad was a coach at Tech. A bunch of my friends
D.
from
Smith transferred
Claremont.
to take his senior year?
He
No,
went from
his
Tech his
sophomore
sophomore year
Oh,
to
okay.
Bayshore. So, you know, I had a lot of, you know, little allegiance with Tech. So I had a lot of guys, you know, a lot of guys, Alan Lovett, you know, Carl Fitz, a lot of guys.
Rest
you
in
know,
peace.
People that I looked up to, they played for Tech. So they're all coming to the game like, oh, well, y'all going to lose tonight. And I'm like, man, we ain't going to lose. What y'all talking about? I mean, we going to be straight.
Was Tech ranked number 1 in the
Tech
state
was
at the
ranked.
time?
We were ranked number 2 in the state. Tech was ranked like 3.
Okay.
They were like 2 or 3. We're both undefeated. So our usually pregame ritual was we would go to ABC Pizza, get us something to eat. We'd go back to either Branch Furtado or Chuck Beaver's house and, you know, get a little nap in. Then we'll show up an hour before the game. So we had our usual parking spot. We pulling in like there's no place to park. We're playing the Shell. So like cars are parked all along the UT baseball field. back up the boulevard. They parked all along Cass. They're parked all on UT's campus. I'm like, man, does UT got something going on tonight? So
they can't see you, baby.
So we never came in the main entrance. We always came in the back entrance through the weight room. And Chuck was the first one in. And Chuck goes and opens the door and closes it. He turns around. He's pale white. I'm like, what the fuck going on? So I go and I look and I peep through the door. I have never seen so many black people in one place at one time.
Especially on that campus.
Oh, man. I said, Shake. I said, Shake, come here. Shake looked out there. I looked at him. We started rubbing our hands.
Birdman hand rub.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Put some respect on it.
We're in the locker room. Coach, this guy never has much to say. And Coach Finley walked in. He was like, well, guys, like, this is what y'all signed up for, and this is what you wanted. So, let's see what we made of. And I ended up, I guarded ice for a majority of the first half that game. We beat them by almost 20.
Yeah.
They smoked.
Yeah.
Beat them by almost 20. I mean, and Tech had a good team that year, bro. And they were a lot deeper than we were, but, like, we were just clicking. Absolutely clicking. Yeah. So this will really freak people out. So this championship game, we win or whatever. Shake gets MVP. I make all tournament team. So the next day, we have practice. Now, we just won a city championship. Next day, we got practice right before Christmas break. So we come in for practice, and we're sitting down, getting ready to stretch. Coach Philemon's like, hey, guys, we got a phone call last night. The Governor's Cup wants us to come play in the tournament. And at the time, the Governor's Cup was like
the city
tournament.
of
Yeah, tournament. So I'm like, oh, that's what's up. I'm like, yeah. So we got to leave the day after Christmas. He's like, look, I'm going to Dallas. So he was trying to say who was going to drive. Like, but I'll meet y'all there. It's like, who wants to go? And so, like, everybody's like, man, I don't know, man. I'm giving up Christmas. Or, I don't know, the competition might be a little too tough. I don't want to go. And you remember this. I stood up and I was like, fuck that. I was like, I'm going, and who's coming with me?
Yeah.
That's real.
Went up there and got that book, too.
Yeah.
Got that book, now let's go.
Yes,
got that book as well. Actually, that was
and we ain't talking about a book of stamps.
No,
got that book.
That was the smoking jacket tour.
Yes, sir.
That was the smoking jacket tour.
Yes, sir.
But then after we got that, then we turn around and come
we
back.
turned back. So we ended up beating. We beat Mariana County the first game, 10 a.m. in the morning. It's like 30 degrees. Inside the gym, they ain't sweep the floor. Like, we played like the
condensation on the floor,
ball hard as a brick. We barely won that game, and so one of the coaches was like, "Oh, you guys are gonna play a lot better than that if you plan to advance in the tournament."
Who's the Gobby?
So the next game we got Gobby. And Gobby got a couple of guys, of course, somebody slides the article under my door like they usually do, right?
Let me get some on fire.
Yeah, I forget the guy's name, but he, being recruited by this, and he's, 2-star athlete, yada, yada, yada. Okay, I got that guy.
2 words for you. Good night.
Yeah. Tap that. Yeah. Next day we played Leon, because Leon ended up upsetting Rickards. Yeah. So we played Leon the next day in the semifinal. Then we got Tallahassee Lincoln in the final with Zach Pillar.
That's
the Zach Pillar, Sean McClain.
Zach Pillar game. God bless the dead when Wood tried to fight him.
Yeah, no, it was not Wood. It was actually Sean McClain's dad came out the stands because Sean McClain caught her on the post, and Zach basically caught him and just threw him against the wall. He broke his wrist, actually.
Yeah.
Breaking his wrist.
Yeah.
And I don't think McClain's dad understood how big he was until he got on the floor standing next to him side by side. Zach was probably 6'7", about 260.
Zach played in the league a long time, too.
He played with the Gators.
He protected
played with the Titans for
McNair's blind side.
8 years.
Okay.
Zach Pillar.
So that game, man, I had a bunch of family that came from Bainbridge and Donaldsonville because they were on the border to watch us play. My great-grandmother had never seen me play. And me and Shake just put on a show, bro. I think Carl missed that entire tournament. He might have missed 8 shots the entire tournament.
I remember seeing that in the paper.
And he averaged 30-something.
He was on fire.
Wow.
And it was a bunch of just middle game. I mean, they tried everything, bro. They played man. They tried a triangle and 2. They tried going zone.
Didn't matter.
Yeah.
It just wasn't happening. I mean, we rolling. So we come back. At that time, we like 20-0. We never won the state.
Road show, man.
Before we get back to Tampa good, we get a phone call. Gobby wants us to come back. They got to open in the schedule. Like in 2 weeks. I mean, we can go back up there.
Yeah, we coming.
Get some more work. Man, we get up there on a Friday. They got that thing packed out. That was a little different story that night. Yeah. I played decent. But yeah, that was our first loss of the season.
Listen, they loaded up for that.
Yeah,
they
they was ready for that.
They made an adjustment.
Yeah, they made a few
films.
adjustments.
Yeah, a few adjustments.
Bruh, they was throwing everybody from everywhere at me, but I was getting traps from people out the stands.
Yeah.
That was a long night.
I know Garvey had a couple football players too.
Yeah. And we ended up losing that game, come back, win some more. Then I played the worst game of my career. Probably a week after that, we played Dunedin.
Too much traveling.
You know what I remember about that Dunedin game? He said it in the gym one day, like on an off day. I think you were like 2 for 10.
I was 1 for 10.
1.
And I missed a dunk in that game too, and I fouled out.
You know
and we
Jones,
lost by 1.
You know what Jones said?
Oh yeah, that's impressive. That's a nice game.
You know what Jones? Jones said, "You know the problem with this shit right here." I was like, I don't know.
They only shot 10 shots.
He said the 10.
Yeah,
That's
10.
he said it's a goddamn problem,
That's the problem.
right here.
10 should have been 1 for 20.
Damn, 1 for 20.
Man, I remember coming home,
When you top notch, put it up.
walking straight in the house, ain't say nothing to nobody, went right in my room, and like I missed school the next day. I ended up catching the bus at like probably 1:30 to get to school, and I don't know who we had on the schedule that next game. It might have been Bayshore Christian.
It was close.
It might have been Bayshore Christian at home, and
They got it.
that was probably my best like all around performance. I think I was like 6 for 7, had 28 points, didn't miss a free throw. They had a guy on their team that was leading the county in scoring. Yeah, well,
led the county in
yeah,
scoring.
that shit ain't gonna happen that night.
No.
True story.
Yeah.
And we were just riding high, man, playing well. We beat TC 5 times that year.
Wow.
In the district game at TC, I mean, I had 22 in the first half.
I think the thing that I remember the most about that year, you was already established. And I would watch you sometimes, and this is what I used to love about you, and you were so coachable. You just kind of make sure we was all right for a while. And then if things got out of hand, then you stepped it up and took it over. But that was important. Yeah,
leader.
but that was important because then calls started coming. You see what I'm saying? And like you said, once we got called and then called,
It was over.
and I'm never forgetting, I think it was up there in Tallahassee or St. Pete somewhere, but Carl went, the dudes jumped, Carl jumped, went to the other side and dunked it. I'm talking about jumped off of 2 feet, floated to the other side, and dunked it, and he was never the same after that. I mean, he
In a
took
good
off,
way.
In a good way. He took off, and so him and Anddrikk was carrying that thing, but then the other dudes was adding their pieces, and everything was rolling, man, I remember, I could say it for I never forget, but I'm going to say it now. The last game we ended up losing, got upset, but the dude got on fire, and I looked at Anddrikk, and I said, so now you going to watch this shit happen, or you finna turn this up? Man, Anddrikk turned that shit up so quick, I was like, damn, I didn't know he going to turn it up like that.
I will say this about Anddrikk, even though we all kid and give each other a hard time. Playing with him, he hold you super accountable.
Yes, sir.
I got a habit of like
That's why I
off
love
the
it.
ball, standing there watching, trying to leak out.
Yeah.
We get back in the hotel room, Anddrikk like, hey, boy, you got to dig in. Like,
Yes,
you got
sir.
that daydreaming, dog. Or like, that was the first time somebody like on my team had like yelled at me from across the court. I'm like,
Yeah.
the fuck you talking to?
Yeah.
And see,
but he was 100% right.
Yeah.
He was like, you ain't gonna get back in the help.
But see,
you know what I'm saying?
these dudes,
I wish I could. I mean, I love playing with him. My experience came like playing pro tournaments, so we did a little college tour, as guys, stuff like that. So that's where my experience came with it, and having a guy like that. Because my point guard in college was like that. You know what I mean? But not as cerebral. You know what I mean? Or not as communicative. As Anddrikk. But that's where my experience came from. Having somebody to hold you accountable, because when you can get away with certain things because of kind of how you are, whether it's your athleticism or your skill set or whatever, you got somebody that's gonna hold you accountable, put you in a position that you can trust. I mean, it always speaks volumes. You know what I mean?
Control everybody's
Yeah.
attitude and everybody's flow. I watched this dude, man, and he would affect everybody else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he was super coachable. Now, that don't mean he liked what you told him or he agreed with what you told him, but he was super coachable. Because there's many days him and Dak, we be doing workouts or something, and I'd be like, man, this ain't about nothing right here. You know what I mean? But they had somewhere to go. They had some things lined up. I'd be like, come on, man. Y'all.
Get y'all ass out the
Anddrikk, when you make the decision to go to when you made the decision to go to college, and I always try to keep some level of questions or understanding when a kid is making that decision. What when you made the decision to go to Vanderbilt, what was it? Was it the coaching? Was it the location? Was it the offensive sets they ran, the schematics, the gameplay, the speed? What was it for you to say, this is a good fit for me? I know academically you've always been somebody that excelled at that. So I never knew that. But give me the reason why you say, okay, Vanderbilt is it.
Well, I'm going to give a little bit of a caveat because at that time we didn't have the things that kids have at their disposal now. Like you can't watch like every game of every college team like you can now back then. Like you caught them on TV, caught them. So basically the selling pitch is what you were sold.
Yes, sir.
And then whatever else you could find, you could find. So going into my senior year, okay, first of all, I want to go to Florida State. Like that's where I wanted to go.
Right.
And
what's my man name? Was his last name Hands? Did I make that Lorenzo Hands or somebody?
Who
was at State?
Oh God.
Drake was like, he got to get that up. I'm coming. I'm going to Florida State.
Yeah, I want to go to State, man.
Yeah.
I want to go to Florida State.
Bad.
So, and actually, that's the first letter I ever received as a freshman was from Florida State. But as I was going into my senior year, of course, I'm leaving Bayshore because I run out of classes to take. So academics plays a big portion in it. So I want to play high-level basketball. Georgetown was also a place where I wanted to go to school, but they didn't have an engineering, department. And by the way, they're recruiting a guy named Allen Iverson, and he turned out to be shit, right? So good luck there, right? So, it was really it was ACC, SEC. I looked at the academies as well, and Vanderbilt had just won the regular season SEC in the '93. They went to the Sweet 16 in '93. And they were recruiting me. And so it was Vanderbilt, Clemson, Georgia Tech, then, of course, all the Ivy League schools, and then the academies were kind of like where my focus was. And I can remember I was playing a preseason shootout over in St. Pete that was sponsored by Adidas. And, everybody, bro. Charlie Miller, Luke Barnes, Corey Lewis, LeBron Williams. Everybody from who was who, Vince Carter, everybody was there across the state. And I played pretty well that weekend. And Buzz Peterson was an assistant coach at Vandy. And Buzz calls the house, And so, I'm a basketball guy. No Buzz Peterson. Yeah. Man, Michael Jordan's right-hand man from USC. As a matter of fact, he won Mr. Basketball over Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
But the guy was just so humble. And we didn't talk about basketball at all. We talked about what I wanted to do professionally. We talked about academics. Right. We talked about my family. Asked me how much I knew about Nashville. And as I started to do some research, bro, it's like I didn't really want to be in like these small towns. Like I didn't want to be in Gainesville. I didn't want to be in Starksville. I didn't want to be in Clemson, South Carolina. Yeah. So like it's Atlanta, and then there's Nashville, right? But I go to visit Vandy, bro, and like I was just blown away by how close knit their black community on campus was, because I felt like you were going to have some type of support structure. Yeah. And then like my concept and perception of Nashville was not the reality once I got there. Like Nashville is a real city, and it's not all cowboy boots and cowboy hats.
Right. What they put in front of us. Right.
And then TSU and Fisk and Meharry, are close, proximity. And I really meshed well with the guys. Actually, some of my best friends, were on that team, and we still communicate to this day. So it came down to Vanderbilt, Yale. I left Stetson in the mix because they were the first people to actually offer me. And Coach Grant, Anthony Grant, was the assistant who was recruiting me at the time.
Wow.
And we're still close to this day. Like I could pick up the phone. That man will pick up the phone to this day. And I ended up going to Vanderbilt, fell in love with the visit. I had one visit left, which was Yale. And I committed to Vanderbilt before I go on this trip, right? So I go to Yale on the visit because Tampa Prep's like, there's no way you can't go visit Yale. So I'm already rolling my eyes, and I just hated it. It felt like you just weren't part of the New Haven, Connecticut community, and that just wasn't me. So the second day I'm there, an article breaks in the Nashville paper that I've committed to go to Nashville or go to Vanderbilt. Oh, and by the way, there's a kid that plays for Yale that's from Nashville, whose dad calls him, who then calls the coach while I'm on my visit at Yale.
See how that universe works?
All I remember about the Vandy visit is he's like, "Where you at?" I was like, "You just called. I'm at my grandma's house, Drake. Like I'm at the crib. I'll be there in 20 minutes. I got something for you." Shows up with like 4 pair of Reebok. Y'all remember Reebok?
They were they Reebok at the time? I think they were Asics. It was Asics.
That's what it was?
It was Asics. Yeah, it was Asics.
He was like, "I got these on the visit."
That is not a true story, people. I did not get any shoes on my visit to Vanderbilt. I do not know what this guy is talking about.
That's your limitation.
Mr. McKinney came from Paul
no
Quinn.
idea what this guy's talking about.
I met him in the Teachers Lounge at Plant. I got a Paul Quinn cup.
Hey, man.
He bought it in.
That's a violation, too.
He bought it in the gift shop.
Here was the kicker, though. So my birthday was the week before my visit. I just turned 17, and they bought me a. You remember the big cookie shop? What's they call it? The cookie shops used to be in the mall back in the day.
Oh, I know exactly what you're talking about.
The big cookie, right? So everybody that know me know I don't really eat sweets. Like I'm not a sweet person, right? So I was like, oh, thank you, So I'm leaving to get on the plane. I leave it in the trunk of the car. I didn't do it on purpose, on accident.
Yes.
The next day they delivered it to school. Vanderbilt did. So I made that decision, man, and it wasn't a good fit. It wasn't. Basketball-wise, I loved it as a school, but it wasn't a good fit.
It just seemed like it happened kind of fast. I remember like talking to you one day. You was like, "Hey, I'm gonna hit you back. Vandy coming by." I was like, "This is a new chick. Like, who was Vandy?" Like, and then he called me like, "I'm committing to Vanderbilt," and then that's what started my. He going to Vandy. I'm walking on that fan.
Boy, I had to listen to that. When you was going to Vandy.
White didn't have no understanding of reality, man.
Listen, man.
At all.
When this cat say he going to Vandy.
He like, man, I've been hooping with Drake. About to go to Bam.
I had to listen to this dude for so long.
Jones couldn't take it one day. That ABC Pizza talk. He's like, boy, who are you go guard anywhere? I was like, damn, Jones, right in my face.
Unapologetically honest.
Yes. But we wasn't hating on each other. It was more like, like when Carl went to West Kentucky, Drake was like, that's going to be a good fit for him, blah, blah, blah. He going to be a big guard. But you was actually right on that because I didn't see him. I didn't know he was going to be able to train.
You didn't see the.
I didn't see it. I didn't know he was going to be a 6'8" guard when he came back home for the summer.
Yeah.
You didn't play for Coach Phil, and you weren't at practice every day when he's like, stop dribbling the damn ball. So every day before practice, Carl getting there early, and what is he doing? Working on his handles.
Yeah, he was.
That's all he did for 30 minutes.
Bro, Carl's be in front of my grandma's house. We could be all up there drinking, doing car in the middle of the street.
Why? And everything's weed.
I forgot. Drink.
Everything's weed.
My bad for those of you at home. You know what I'm saying? Nick go edit out the drinking part.
But you know the funny part, Carl did all that. When they got up there, it was coming off of screens.
Right.
Maybe one or two pull up.
Lost.
Yeah, it wasn't all of that what he was doing. You know what I mean? Working on that. But I mean, then that's when he got to go start making money. It probably came in handy, but
Yeah, but Drake
super skilled and
Drake was a different type of trash talker too. Like I tried to, pick up some of that stuff. He wouldn't say like stuff to the guy guarding him. If they ran a double, he'd kick it to me. He'd be like, "Oh, he's gonna hit that." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or he'll be like, "Oh, y'all trapping me?" Just say real little slick stuff, but he wouldn't really say anything to like the other guys.
Yeah. There's nothing more intimidating than so when you calling out people plays for them.
Yeah.
When they come down the floor.
Drake always got me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we did. I don't remember no extensive scouting. But Drake had a scout.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Drake told me
he knew what they was going to do.
Bro, we playing the Jacksonville Doctors. Drake was like, if he goes left, it's a one dribble pull up.
Yeah, that's how Drake was.
I was like, bro, we just got in the gym.
Yeah.
You know me, I'm gambling. He went left, I swiped at that thing immediately. It looked like a great defensive play by me.
Like, cause you know where we're going.
Drake had to, he was like, bro, if he goes left, it's a one dribble pull up. He's like, I promise you.
I watched a lot of basketball. People didn't realize I went to a lot of high school. When we were playing somebody, I went to games.
Yeah.
There was not a team that we played unless I couldn't get there. We went to go watch the Clearwater Shootout. It was, I forget who we were playing, but they were playing Dixie Hollins. Because they had Melancholy Jones and Lamar Burgess on that team. And I went specifically just to watch them play.
No teeth, 16. On that mouth bite,
I didn't say that. No, it was Dixie Hollins.
I forget who they were playing.
Clearwater was there. The team from Kentucky was there. Yeah, we went.
I was going to watch impressive to be 16.
We went to a lot of basketball games.
Teams, but it definitely gives you that advantage. A lot of times, you try to relay that to kids and make them understand the importance of it. And a lot of times we say, oh, they don't get it, but you have to almost express to them the importance of doing that because you got to add an advantage. I mean, when you get to school and you get a scouting report, you get to college, you're going to get to something this big and they'll say, if you go to right, he's going to go all the way to the rim. He loves the left wing. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. He's shooting this percentage. You see the dudes. You see the lefts and rights of doing the don'ts and the ups and downs of a player, regardless of what they like to do.
Hey.
Kind of goes back to what you said earlier about doing something special.
Hey, it's for us sitting at this table. I paid to go see two of the people at this table play.
Wow. So you just walked into the plant game? You just gave him the back?
Wow.
I went to go see Drick at Bayshore play.
That's respected, coach.
No, that ain't respect. That's a low blow. And I got my pocket knife on me, Nick. Hey, so he got to see me after this.
That's respected because look, I didn't even know coach was in the crowd when he said,
"Hey man, you might have put him on the guest list." That's what he was saying.
Yeah, okay,
he didn't have to pay.
I did have that type of pull.
I went to go see Drick when he was at Bayshore, and then I went to go see Mario play because I had heard about him and all this. You know, I said, "Let me go check out this post player they keep talking about."
6'7",
I walk
230.
This dude handling the rock, and I said, I ain't never seen no damn guard like that.
Damn, Ice was 6'7", he just won 230.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. Ice, I was impressed with Ice.
Yeah, you know.
All right, but when I see him, and I was like, that's a post player.
But I got it from those guys.
He got it from Dave.
That's all we did. We didn't know we was gonna be 6'7".
Yeah.
We didn't know that.
Hey, remember? I don't know where we were when Carl had got in his little bag, and he came down and shot the air ball. And Jones pulled, and me and you was on the bench.
So we finna get it.
Like,
before he even let it loose, I knew.
So you know, Carl shot the air ball, and so he didn't even look. He knew it was for him. And Jones was like, "You out here with all this dancing? You shooting air ball?" Carl mumbles for the kids at home, earmuffs. Fuck that shit.
I'm gonna do it again.
No, he said, "Fuck that shit." This how me and Drake sat back.
Yep.
Cause you know the bench is right there. He said, "I say what?"
Drake said,
they lean back like that.
He said,
I
"What?"
Get a good look.
He said, "I come down there and beat your ass," like in the gym, out loud. But Jones take it.
I remember saying that.
Yeah, because he said, "Fuck that shit." You did say that. Jones like, "I come down there and beat your ass."
Coach, I wasn't as polished as I used to be. You know what I mean?
This before he was saved.
Yes, exactly.
Before he was saved.
Before they tied him in the water. they tied him in the holy water now. He good now. He ain't beating nobody kids, man.
Hey, me and Drake did just like this. I was like, well, I don't want there to be no confusion.
Hey, they did that thing in unison. How y'all lean back, boy. Everybody lean back in the bed. Y'all already knew. That's funny.
You did bring up a good point, and I think this is where some people missed the boat. Like my dad always told me at some point, like all these tools you've been given, right, being around the game, learning at an early age, like at some point these people gonna catch up to you at that piece, right? So you gotta try to find things to stay ahead and be an advantage. So when I go to Vanderbilt, I'm faster, I'm stronger, you know, like than a lot of people playing in front of me. But these dudes been playing in a system for 3 years, and it's a motion offense system. Like, and so they used to coming off screens, catching and shooting. You know, the screens we set in high school ain't the same as 6'8", 242. They coming off staggers and triples sometimes, right? So my freshman year was so humbling,
stagger
man.
Screens, if you don't know what they're talking about, triple screens. So
now, mind you, SEC, that's the year Arkansas won the national tournament in '94, my senior year. So we got to play Arkansas, you know, with Corliss Williamson, Corey Beck, Scotty Thurman. What's my man? Used to shoot the ball. Clint McDaniel used to shoot the ball from 40 feet before it was fashionable. So we got to play Kentucky. Right, so we got Antoine Walker, we got Padgett, we got Walter McCarty, we got Shepard, we got Tony Delp. Oh, we got to play Alabama. We got McAfee.
Wow.
We got McDyess. We got Eric Washington. Wow. Oh, we got to play South Carolina and Georgia. So like, I'm watching all these guys play, and I'm getting a scouting report.
Allen Houston was at Tennessee.
Allen Houston was gone. He had graduated already. I mean, play Florida, but I'm like, if you're not engaged mentally at what's going on, like you, not only can you go out there and physically get hurt, but you can get your feelings hurt.
Right.
On top of that.
Those are the things that I wish.
Don't lose it.
No. Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
No, did you lose a little bit of confidence then?
I lost a lot of bit of confidence.
I know, because when you came home, and Dak done told the story where we done talked about it many times, and you're shooting and everything. He was talking about he can't hit no shots and all that when he came home. And so he called, and he was like, hey, man, Joan, come over here, man. Let's get some shots up, work on my shot. Finish that, Dak.
I think Kyle was just born, too.
Yeah, my daughter was just
Joan
born.
was like, I'm a sneak away, you know. My daughter was just born. We get to the gym, we working out. Drake hit like 38 out of his first like 45 shots. I see Jones go to grabbing and stuff. He mumbling. Y'all got me up here with this bullshit.
Wasting my time.
Man, be listening. I don't know who you listening to. Don't be listening to them crazy motherfuckers. Man, get your ass out here. You can shoot the ball.
You can shoot the damn ball.
Threw us out the gym and locked it up and left.
Because it got in his head.
I left after my freshman year.
It got in his head, and I could tell. Yeah. And he lost his confidence.
It's easy.
He like 38 out of 45 shots.
It's easy to, though. I mean, it's very easy to, you know what I mean, lose confidence, you know, especially when you been decorated. You know, you come in with your skill set in your game. They recruited you to play that. But then you get into a college system, and then we begin to understand, okay, at the time, you're looking at between 55 and 65 possessions a game. If there's an ill-advised shot, you know what I mean? Because like where mine tried to be destroyed at times, if I came down and I shot a transition 3, I'll come down and pull up, change speeds, pull up, make a 3, you getting pulled out the game. That's not a good shot. So they're trying to, at the time, it wasn't a lot like what we see now in regards to guys coaches really being able to play with guys' skill set and play more open and more free, kind of let them off the cage a little bit. Back then you didn't, see a lot of that. So you had to be a fit for somebody, in that regard. You got an athletic point guard that's cerebral, you know what I mean, and going out and facilitating. Now, this system, that ain't for everybody.
We talked about this, and, obviously Drick a big family guy. Rest in peace, Miss Sharon started not feeling well. I thought he was going to Richmond, who ran like a 3-guard set. That would have been perfect for him. You know what I'm saying? But life didn't work out that way. He ended up coming to South Florida. But Richmond, oh, man, he'd have killed it up there.
I mean, even at USF and coming back, remember, like, I played for 5 coaches in 5 years.
Oh, yeah.
How many conferences did you play in?
I played in 3 conferences.
Yeah.
But I played for 5 coaches in 5 straight years. So
they was in
5 different systems.
Conference USA.
Metro, probably.
That was in the Metro first?
When I came in, they were in Metro and went to Conference USA.
Yep.
So played Metro Conference USA.
That's when I got the letter. They said they were transferring to Conference USA, which was kind of luring recruits to come to them. You know what I mean? Then they went to Big East after that. Yeah. Well, sometime later, yeah.
So, I mean, I'm coming back to play for Coach Pascal. Chucky's doing his thing. I've always had a good relationship with Chucky. And I took my red shirt years a year to really become a student of the game and, learn. I took everything I learned from Vanderbilt. And actually, I brought some of that stuff back down to the guys from USF because they rely so much on athleticism. I'm like, look, fellas, like, if these things, like, you shoot the ball well, right? Especially going to your left. Flare screen here, roll every time. You'll be good. You ain't got to put the ball on the floor. Yeah. You ain't got to work as hard, And a lot of those guys at Vandy weren't as athletic, so schemes and things they did just to junk stuff up, like, I brought that back with me, too. And then, like, again, man, practicing against somebody like Chucky every day, like, defensively, every day I got to guard him.
That's
every day.
One of the quickest people I done ever seen.
Every day.
Straight up.
Nah, I'm not going to lie. He's the only person to ever make me fall.
Like, he's one of the quickest people I've ever seen. Like, working out with them day in and day out when he played for the Magic, like, it's different. Like,
Chuck was cold.
Oh, my God.
Who was the dude? Because we so used to Drick locking people up. Who was the dude that got out on y'all? You told me.
Not the Earl Boykins.
Yeah, that's
when Drick held him to 38.
Yeah.
First of all, Earl Boykins is not scoring. Man, hold on, man. Hold on, man. See, here we go.
Earl Boykins.
First of all, he didn't even play in that game. He might have been there in the stands, number one. Number two, like,
you called me and told me about it.
We beat them. Earl Boykins had like 18. Now, Earl Boykins, at that time, I never played anybody that was smaller than me.
Right.
And so I watched him play a couple times. He was averaging like 40 in the tournament. He was leading the tournament in scoring.
Yeah.
We won that tournament, by the way. And I'm watching this dude play, and I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? I mean, I'm in my mind, I'm trying to figure, like, I can't really get up on him and press him full court.
That was when he played with Team Florida.
Yeah.
And I knew it was crucial. He called me. Kids at home calling long distance back then was a big deal.
Sprint card.
Yeah.
Drick was like, no, he's like it's a little dude,
Sprint phone card.
Drick was like, he's averaging like 46 the first. I was like, he ain't averaging 46. He had 46. Drick was like, no, he's averaging like 46.
So what I had to do with him was I had to wait until he crossed half court. So like the distance was a little shorter because I give him a little bit of space and still be able to recover on shots. And then we started switching every screen because they weren't very big.
Right.
And that's the only way we were able to contain them. And we upset them and beat them and kind of got us on our roll.
Yep.
But I don't even know how I got sidetracked with that foolishness. Because I said Chucky made me fall in. But at any rate.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie. Drick was like a mini version of Shaq. Like all the smaller guards.
Oh, no question.
Oh, what's my man name played for Florida? You called him too. He's supposed to be quick like
Eddie Shannon.
Eddie Shannon.
Played against Eddie.
Drick called him too.
But see, he could match your quickness, but then he was more physical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was more physical. And then it's like, when y'all start hitting them weights and then he just lost his mind, he just started pushing everybody around then. I was just like, goodness, man.
So we go through that first year at USF. Coach Pascal decides he's going to retire midway through the season, And so I was supposed to be handed sticks at point. B. Lamb was going to play the 2. Kinslow was going to be at the 3. We had Harper at the 4. We had just recruited Ricky McClanahan and George Reese. George Reese ended up transferring to Ohio State. They were very good one year, lost in the Final Four. So we were going to be okay. And, and Pascal decides to leave. A couple of guys have academic issues. And then Coach Greenberg gets the job here. And
The analyst said Greenberg.
Seth is the brightest basketball mind I have ever been around. Y'all looking at me like I'm crazy. You know, I'm being completely honest. Even if you watch him when he's on TV, if he's breaking down film, or he's 100% right all the time.
Most of the time.
I mean, I learned so much from that man, but it just so happened like, you know, now I'm on my fifth coach in 5 years. You know, he has to come in from Long Beach State where he's had some success. He's a guy from New York. He assembles this great coaching staff, pulls David Zimroff from Florida State, who recruited, you know, the who's who of all them guys that went to Florida State. And so, you know, and by the way, we're in Conference USA that now has Memphis, Louisville, Cincinnati. Like, so we're in a big time conference. So this is his opportunity to do what he really wants to do, is get on the big stage and coach in the Big East. Right. So this is his time to shine. And Zimroff has the recipe to recruiting Florida players because he's done it at Florida State. So they're gonna do it here. So you marry all that together, and like I was never really conceptually a part of that plan.
You wasn't one of his guys.
So the first year, my year I'm eligible, they haven't had a chance to recruit anybody. The first game we play is Ohio State at home. Like this is my first time playing in 2 years. Bruh. I'm ready. I'm in my bag. And man,
in your bag.
I was 3 for 9 from the free throw line. I still got 13 points. I've never shot the ball that poorly from the free throw line. We beat Ohio State here. My first 6 games, I think I scored double figures. And we're 5-1. And I can remember Greenberg put me in his office like, look, man, like if we're gonna be good, like you can't play like this. Like we gotta have you set the stage and kind of get stuff together, and like we need you to kind of just facilitate basically, right?
Oh boy.
So you know, I'm what am I? You told what am I? I'm coachable, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
so you did. I ain't like it though.
I do what I gotta do.
I ain't like you being coachable because you were playing
going
fine.
to the show. You were
playing fine. We were playing fine.
We do that, and then Adrian Hillman ends up being ruled ineligible. We lose him after getting the first career triple double in USF history, and like that was the worst basketball year of my life. I think we won 7 games that year. 7 games. Come back junior year, have pars defect in my back, so I don't get to practice all preseason.
Trying to squat so heavy.
I mean, that was just everything finally taking its toll.
Yeah, taking its toll.
Greenberg gets his first recruiting class in, so now I'm scheduled to come off the bench. And you earn playing time in practice. I mean, like you ain't gonna challenge me. So at some point,
Say that again. You earn playing time. Well,
in practice.
I mean,
that's a novel idea.
Be careful, you're going to get a lot of backlash for saying that you earn playing time in practice.
Nigga backlash me, I'm going to lash back.
Tommy good.
About that time.
Tommy good.
But you bring all these freshmen in, and, the guys are, I love these guys to death, but, like, you can't throw them in the fire against Memphis, Cincinnati, expect them to be able to defend and scouting reports and all that. So I had that in my bag. Plus, I knew tendencies, and, I could still make a shot or two. So I ended up starting midway through the season. We were 17-11 that year, and we should have been at least in the NIT tournament that year. And we don't get a bid. And then my senior year, I come back, I'm like, all right, like, enough of this shit.
Right.
Like, I had a real good summer in Riverfront League. I worked on my body. Like, I was healthy. Season starts, I have issues with my back again. So I missed all the practice. Matter of fact, I didn't practice. I rode a bike for the first 15 games of the season.
That's when you was rocking them dreads.
Had the dreads, buddy. Had the dreads, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Had the dreads, buddy. And we were gifted our senior year, man. We just
couldn't put it together.
Couldn't mesh as a team. You had this freshman class that included B.B. Walden, Altron Jackson, Will McDonald. And in the previous year's freshman class, they didn't get along. I tell Greenberg this all the time. The staff didn't take enough time to understand mentally what they were doing, pitting those two classes against each other. Like, I'm a firm believer in, like, you can't treat everybody the same, but it has to be the same set of rules that we all abide by. Okay. Like, I do it in my house. Like, I can yell at Olivia all day long, but I can't yell at Asia. I mean, they don't respond the same, but like we still got the same set of rules, and that caused a lot of tension. And we see this all the time. Like, if you're not playing for each other or you're not playing for your coach, when things ain't going well, you ain't gonna fucking play.
Right.
And so there were a lot of games, man, that we were in and we should have won. I mean, hell, we were 9-0 before we played University of Tennessee here on national television. I mean, and getting ranks, getting votes in the poll. And just like little things started happening. And that was probably my biggest regret, was not being able to pull those guys together, because you couldn't tell BB and Altron shit. I mean, those guys were by far the two best players on that team.
Yeah.
And BB led us in scoring that year, and the way they were kind of handled and coddled, like, I honestly don't blame them.
Right.
But I think that was the downfall of that year, and then the years to come after that, because Greenberg has some hellified teams and some talent.
He did.
And it just didn't mesh well. It's time to get to I'll never forget.
Start with Tommy.
Tommy J.
No, and I just never forget the time that he was there, man. This dude always been one of my favorite players because he was coachable, because he let me coach him and teach him. He accepted it. He worked hard, but yet, if he had something to say or whatever, he would say it. You know what I mean? I'll never forget that time. That was some of the best time I had. And when Dak too was on them teams when we went to summertime, but I'm talking about mostly his team at Prep. Mm-hmm. And to this day, I still, I'm in contact with him and Carl, and y'all dudes always show me a lot of love and respect. And so I just never forget the times we shared, and I always remember that, man. It was some of the best. And that's kind of why after that I went to coach women, because I said I'm not going to run into no more dudes like this, And now I'm back in dudes, and I was right. I still haven't ran into anybody like that.
Relax.
So I never forget.
Relax, Tommy Gunn.
Two people got me into coaching, and one of them sitting to my left. I'll never forget the phone call I got when he decided to start coaching at Hillsborough High School. I was his assistant.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes. He's the reason that I started coaching in basketball. A lot of people don't even know that.
White Nick didn't know that.
Sure didn't. He didn't know that, but he was like, I was like, man, Drick, no, I said, man, I'm too closely removed. I'm still young. I'm still trying to hoop. He was like, man, come on over here and coach, man. You got a lot to give back to the kids. I remember that conversation. We only did it for 2 years just due to they didn't release the reins on us the way I felt like they needed to for us to really build a program in a public institution.
Can you say that again?
They didn't release the reins.
You need to have them reins if you're gonna get that program where it need to be, right?
No doubt.
I ain't gonna let you.
I know y'all knew what y'all was doing.
I ain't gonna let you and Drake sit up here and do that. Y'all was trying to do stuff.
No. Let me
finish.
Ain't no let you finish. You done cut me off already. No.
Y'all,
So
Jones, they trying to do stuff like have study hall. Making sure the kids have good grades.
How dare they?
Yeah. So we had study hall. We was playing outside of the district and trying to do things.
Trying to be competitive.
We actually played a high school team in Orlando. You remember the game we played?
Winter Park.
You
know who was on that team?
Yeah, you know who was on that team?
Austin Rivers was on that team.
The freshman. And that was the most, like, one of the most well-coached teams. I mean, the way they ran their system was unbelievable. Unbelievable.
They about ran y'all out of the county for all of that, trying to be competitive and
teach students. So that
I got a few phone calls.
Look, I said.
He got a few phone calls about study hall.
Hey, but you know what? We was on the bus, and Drake was like, well, you know we in trouble, Ree. Like, we going to get in trouble. I'm like, well, we going to play Winter Park. And that's what we need to get for the kids.
We'll deal with fallout later.
Yeah, we'll deal with the consequences later. Wow. But, it was a package deal. When he left, I left. He was like, look, man, you can stay. I'm like, nah, man, I'm out of here too when he left. So, this the reason why I've been coaching now over the last, decade and giving back
White
to the
Nick.
kids. This guy here, my point guard.
So I'm going to keep it in the mode of the Anddrikk Frazier. My favorite, one of the best trait that Drake has is his ability to be rational about stuff.
Yeah, all the time.
Like.
No
Drake,
matter the moment.
Like it was a situation where he'll be like, hey, if we late, we gonna have to sit at the first quarter of the game, but we ain't playing nobody, so we can just be like that type of rationality. So I get a phone call one night. This years ago. What's happening? I'm like, what's up, boy? Boy, it's kind of late. Man, we got to go get my class ring or my Letterman jacket or something. All right, let's go get it.
Nick, cut.
Nah, PG version. So I'm saying
cut.
Now understanding where he comes from, if he's calling saying we have to go get it, what he told you about Sharon, rest in peace, Sharon the Hellraiser. So it's kind of the equivalent of coming back home and somebody done stole your bicycle. You better go get it.
You better go make it happen. Yeah, make it happen.
We made it happen. And we retrieved the goods and we came back home.
That's it.
And no one was hurt. No
one was hurt.
No one.
Know what I'm saying?
That's all we need to know.
Yeah, that was it.
We
but
right now.
When he called, I heard the urgency in his voice. Yeah, we got to go, man, get my stuff. And in my mind, Sharon was standing over there just like this.
Yeah.
Right, don't even play with me.
Don't even play
All
with me.
4 foot 11 inches.
When I say standing over, he was sitting down on the phone. You know what I'm saying? But that's one of my favorite drink stories. We got to go get it.
Yes, sir.
On you, sir.
You know, I think of all the things I take away from basketball, the thing that's been the most touching for me has been like some of the former players, you know what I'm saying, that have reached out. And we coached for 3 years, right? Yeah. We didn't produce any college athletes. We didn't produce any pros.
Doctors on the team.
We do have a couple doctors.
Dentists on the team.
And,
yes, sir.
And I do some stuff at USF now on the philanthropic side, especially for black students. And my mentee was having some oral issues, right? And no insurance. Actually just graduated. Shout out to Shaheem Ricketts, just graduated with a degree in accounting. Unbelievable story. So proud of that young man. But I hear about this and I'm like, yo, man, why you ain't call me, let me know what was going on? He's like, well, I was kind of embarrassed. I need some help. It's like, all right. So one of our former players, Jacob Berger's a dentist in Sarasota. So I reach out to Jake. I say, hey, Jake, look, man, I got this kid. He's a mentee at USF, great kid. Has to have his wisdom teeth removed and a lot of pain. It's like, I got it. Just when can you get him in? It's like, coach, get him up here today. So I call him. Shaheem gets a ride, drives down to Sarasota. Calls me, like has his girlfriend call me 2 hours later, got him home, man, it's the whole nine. So I called Jake and I'm like, Jake, what's up, man? Like, how much I owe you? He's like, coach, he's like, you don't owe me, I owe you.
I love it.
I owe you, and so me, it's like, it's kind of one of those things where there are so many people who poured into my life. Like, I feel like we need to be doing more of that. And so when you have the ability to coach kids, and no matter what you teach them between them lines, if they take that piece away, you've done your job.
You've done your job, baby.
So
yes, sir.
That's something I'll never forget.
Yes, sir. I love it.
Don't forget to like the video. My man, Anddrikk Frazier, and the staff of 99 Ain't Good Enough signing off. Like the video, leave a comment with the topics you want to hear. Next, subscribe to the channel, and remember, 99 ain't good enough. Where we
keep it 100.
100.